please? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if we could remain standing and remember our men and women in the armed forces, close and far, and remember some local residents since our last meeting. I have Sean Falk, Mark Julian, Michael Sable, and Adriana Diadio, a nice lady. Thank you. Minutes? Agenda.
They were down that end.
Thank you.
Okay, one little piece of housekeeping. On Wednesday, February 27th, which is next week, we have down 6 p.m. budget, sewer, and fire. Preliminary, we're changing that same date, sewer, fire, but we're changing it to 9 a.m. It's preliminary right now until we talk to our treasurer tomorrow morning. If he says yes, we'll keep it at that same date but new time, from 6 at night to 9 in the morning. The rest of them are all at night, 6, 6, 6. The rest of them are all at night.
Saturday.
Well, that's the interviews.
Okay.
Yeah,
I lost my head.
I'm sorry.
I'm back now.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Pledge, public comment. If you could step up to the mic.
Somebody there?
No, anyone?
Oh, anybody? Okay.
Hi, sir.
Hi, I'm David Johnston, and I live on 11 Riverview Road, Highland Falls, New York. And I just had, I know I'm not supposed to be asking questions of this, but maybe some things that could be answered at a later date, but just ideas that, and these are partly from one of my neighbors, Rita, as well as myself. And we were just wondering how this site was proposed and chosen, rather than, let's say, the Roe Park site, since health safety doesn't seem to be a concern. Or is it a concern? I don't know. That was one of the questions that, it said because of the height, you know.
Let me answer that.
Yes.
If you have more, I can
Sure,
try to do them.
yes,
If I don't have the answer, I will get it.
Sure.
You know me. You'll have it by tomorrow. So that site was looked at after other sites were looked at, i.e. the roof here, which can't hold it. I.e. the water plant, i.e. the 5 acres that the village owns behind Little League. All those sites were looked at by Homeland Towers. And through his investigation of going around, this became the site
the best.
for coverage.
They thought,
For coverage. For coverage.
even though this is a higher,
Yeah,
that's,
for coverage.
that's strange.
Yeah,
Traveling around the country, you know, I just don't seem to see
yeah,
the site of a tower,
yeah,
the lowest site that you could possibly have it at,
yeah.
rather
We
than
were
the
all,
highest site. That's really
maybe
astounding to
surprised.
me, yeah. that
Now,
really-
number 2, so you know, and Mr. Auer will be talking about this in a little bit, but we are hiring at least one, probably 2, we're gonna hire a I don't know, should I call him a consultant? A consultant who is an expert in technology, that kind of technology, and he's an expert in frequencies. To tell us to go, we're gonna tell him to go visit those other sites and see what he says.
Yeah.
And we're in the process of gathering some folks to interview, to give us that type of expertise.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think the Roe Park is good at all, because proximity to more homes, and it's more dangerous, because I think there's a health concern that I have. And I read the American Cancer Society report, and that chooses a report that's favorable to their stance, but when I look at the literature, there are also studies that actually have been done in Germany, in Brazil, and the outcome is quite different. You know, they find that there isn't greater incidence of cancer the closer you are to the actual site. So I think that's a concern for all of us, and in our case,
And us-
we're 150 feet away, so that's a big concern with me. That's the biggest concern.
I understand.
And the second concern, of course, is when you look out at the river, all I'm looking at is this, right in the center, is this tower with the flashing red lights. Or I don't know if they're flashing, but they're red lights. It's gonna have lights, I think, according to what I heard from,
You don't have to
Xavier?
have lights unless it exceeds a certain height. and
what I asked, and he told me at the time, I think it was the other day, just Sunday, I guess it was, that I asked him that
I think if it's
question.
180 feet, you have to have lights.
Oh, okay.
That's not necessarily true, Joe, because of us being next to West Point here and the low-flying helicopters.
I'm very surprised, yeah.
Okay, we'll see.
But anyway, and I, again, one of the questions that was proposed was also the power output and frequency wavelength of the tower antenna, which would be answered by that consultant that you mentioned, I think. Yeah, and,
We're going to hire the consultant, so we get, you know,
yes,
he'll work for us and give us the correct information.
right,
And, as Mr. Howard will tell you in a minute, that, while it's not been negotiated yet, Homeland Towers will pay for it. I'm gonna ask them to set up an escrow,
yeah.
all right?
And then a map, I know that he had mentioned a map showing the distance where the tower is and I guess maybe circumference around, so that we know how many feet we are from the tower. I'm thinking we're about 150 feet away, but I'm not sure. And I think that Irina is even closer, which is really,
I don't have
Concern.
that. I don't have that, but
yeah,
that can be done.
yeah, that would be, you know.
Yeah.
I guess that's really about it, I guess. And, oh yeah, the time span for there'll be an environmental impact study, correct?
I'm not gonna, I keep saying this, I'm gonna let Mr. Howard, maybe he can do it even now. But you'll hear, we are nowhere near,
Yeah,
one might say we just started, like,
I know.
I mean, we're so, we're in the very, very beginning stages. There's so much to do. And no lease will be signed, which kicks in this 150 days that it needs to be done in. No lease will be signed, until all of this is done. So we're nowhere near anything, to be honest with you.
okay, I think that's,
So why don't, here, sit here for a minute, so I want you to hear, I want you to hear what he's saying. Here, sit here
Yes.
for a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay, sit here for a minute.
Yes.
Brian, why don't you do it now?
I will.
okay,
We are very far from voting, like the mayor said, on the cell tower. There are several factors. We haven't had any public hearings, so,
I know
and
that.
when we do have a public hearing, we want one of the consultants that we're going to hire to be here, because the members of the board don't have that knowledge that they do. We also are willing to look at other sites, as the mayor said. The committee has no vote. All we are doing here is gathering information. We do not vote. We also need a lot of reports from the environment, which our lawyer will look at. And we do have a new member on our committee, a Rita Dougherty will be with us.
Yes.
Right. There was also a statement made that my wife wants to put a cell tower in our backyard. That was really tongue-in-cheek, because I'm not moving the rose bushes or the bird feeder. I was walking down with the coffee today, and they said, you're not really putting a tower in your backyard. I'm not,
I have a question for you too.
okay?
As part of this committee's work, are they going to be looking into health studies, research that's been done in terms of health factors?
If that's where the committee wants to go, yes.
If they want to go that way.
Now, we've had people here passing out stuff on that.
Yes.
We have that.
Okay.
We have a lot of information, so it's gonna be long drawn out, to be very honest,
You know,
until everything is done.
but, you know, I mean, if I were on the committee, I would think that'd be a concern, that the health factor.
As long as people are willing to know
Yeah.
that when you do research, you can always get the pros and the cons.
Oh, sure,
Like you mentioned.
but you wanna have a balance,
But you mentioned Europe.
yes.
Europe has had cell phones before we have.
Mhm.
So if you read certain research, it says there's no problem. Other research that I read said there is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So there's gotta be at least a balance.
And
I
that
agree.
article in the American Cancer Society didn't have that balance, which is very interesting. And that was cited by Xavier, you know.
So let me say this again, and then maybe we don't need to move on, but maybe we
Right.
can. So I'm gonna read this. No lease will be signed until all analysis, it's a lot, that one word, analysis, till all analysis and complete review process is done, including secret. So that's important, okay? And then all of this will be in the public. All of this will be in the public.
Joe, if I.
And one more thing, then I think,
Go ahead.
I've asked Jim DeSalvo, because as a county legislator, also to make the proper contact. I said we're going to bring in a expert in technology and frequency, but I've asked Jim DeSalvo to get a hold of the correct person out at the county in emergency management department under 911. They have experts too that we won't have to pay for, our taxes already due, to have them come over to talk to us and to check out frequencies and the best location. So we're gonna have a couple of entities, if you will.
Yeah, personally, my feeling is that it's hazardous to my health. It lowers my value of the house, obviously. And, you know, I'd be looking to move if it happened.
If I may
Yeah.
just say this,
I mean,
I don't want to be long with this because.
Yes.
Well, one thing, a couple things I want to say is, I did name the decision to put it down there. The reason why is because at a higher elevation, and it would make more sense to me, and being up at the water treatment plant, if at possible, we'll have a study up there.
Yeah,
I'm just talking about the whole surrounding area from 293 to Route 6, the village of Howland Falls and all of that. The other thing that I've did some research on is actually, if you look into the U.S. Department of Housing, okay, on HUD, this is a fact that just came out that 90% of the homes around cell phone towers lose 20% of the value.
oh, yeah.
And also that the market for those homes goes way down and buying and all of that. And
I think you're right.
that's a big factor
Oh,
for the
yeah,
area.
oh, yes.
Another thing that I'd like to mention real quick here is that once a tower is built and the contract is signed and a tower goes up, they do not have to go back to the municipality, and I also checked with an attorney on this, they could add an additional 20 feet to that.
Oh, easily, yeah.
And also what they could do with that tower is, it may look like a tree. If it's not in fine print on that contract, what's gonna be there, they could keep adding on that.
Remember,
Most of them will have lights. Let me just finish, Joe, I'm almost done. A couple other things when we talk about the health and all of that, it does go back and forth. Okay, some people say it is, some people say that it isn't. My feelings are, I'm gonna stick with the caution line that I wanna stay away from it. Okay, that's just the way that I feel. But I am positive that this board here is gonna definitely research and will move forward only if we think that it's in a positive direction, okay? And I've spoken with the board members, and I really got a good feeling on that, so that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much.
the only thing I want to correct, and it was brought up at a meeting, and we, you know, your information, our information, when we have the right people in, you know, it's almost like, what do we know, you know, on this? This is-
Exactly, you're gonna
No.
read different things.
But, to go from 160 to 180, they can't do it. It has to go through the whole process again.
Well, actually, it's
Okay, let's just let it go and
Yeah.
we'll see. All right?
the section 6409 of the, but
Okay.
we'll go through that.
All right.
And Mr. Mayor,
Yep.
so
We can.
I voted for the balloon test because I wanted to see where it was.
Right.
And when I was down there on Sunday,
You were at our.
I seen
Yes,
where it
sure.
was. And although it doesn't, looking from the Main Street side,
Anything now.
it's just below the tree level, but when you're on your properties, if that balloon level is truly right where the units will be, it's gonna be at the same level as your bedrooms, to say the least.
Yes,
So I wasn't happy, but
No.
with that, I'm a visual kind of guy, so I like to
Yes.
see that. And that's why I wanted to see it.
yeah,
So I wasn't happy when I seen the location of the balloon.
Well, one last thing I want to say real quick though, and I was amazed by this, that the Hudson Valley nationally took last in cell phone service. The Hudson Valley did. And I think that's really bad, because when we talk about 911 and all of that, everybody that dials 911 is going to cross the river. And when it's an emergency, it takes time. So we definitely do have to strengthen, that part there.
Okay,
Anyway,
thank you.
all right, so there's much more.
All right.
There's anyone else?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take 1 minute.
I think you've lost that.
Ned
Three
Copeland,
minutes, yes.
Oh, right.
resident. I too was at the site where the balloon test was on Sunday. First, I would like to say that the Homeland Towers, as well as the village, did not adequately publicize the event. News of the Highlands did not have a time. I, as a member of the committee, did not know the exact time. I understand it was on a website, and Trustee Murphy assisted me in getting the time. But I also think that the time was not broad enough to a large member of the community. The folks who have spoken, and some of whom are here tonight, who live in the immediate area, were aware of it because of their interest. But I could see the balloon from my dining room. That gives you some sense of the distance. Of course, the balloon is very, very much smaller than the tower, which would be observable. At the entrance to Peacedale Cemetery, you could see it very vividly.
That's funny, Ned, because I went in front of Key Bank, turned around and looked at the old Grand Union in the back of the parking lot.
Right.
I saw the red balloon. I have it on my phone. I saw the red balloon, but it was lower than the tree line.
I went up past Mr. Graber's house to the entrance of Peacedale, and I could clearly see it.
You could see the balloon, yeah,
Yeah.
but it was below the tree line. But listen, because,
I
go ahead.
think that the village owes it to itself as well as the citizens to look further at sites that would not be in close proximity to residences and would not be physically offensive from an aesthetic standpoint.
Just a few minutes in the beginning of the meeting that you missed.
Okay?
We
I
are.
apologize.
No, there's no apology needed.
Right.
We are
Mhm.
doing exactly that.
I think it's premature to enter into any lease.
Oh, Ned, we're nowhere near that. We're not even that's not even on, that's nowhere.
And
So
I
much has to be done.
also respectfully say that when Homeland Towers said that they wanted to incorporate into the lease the right to come back to the board to go up to 180 feet, would be ill-advised. If they wanted in the future to do that, they should have to come back without having a leg up and be in a position where they would be stronger from a legal
The whole
standpoint.
process would have to be done again.
I think the
He knew
lease
that.
has pointed
Yeah.
that out. but-
Which is why we're gonna bring in consultants that are not part of that organization.
So a lot of what your
You need
concerns are, we're
an
doing.
independent,
Yeah,
Right.
we're gonna do interviews. We have a couple of guys that are experts in technology and frequencies, i.e. cell towers. So we're gonna bring them in. One's been recommended by our engineer, one's been recommended by our attorney, and we're gonna interview them.
And Jim's bringing in.
And Jim DeSavo's gonna ask someone from 9/11 Emergency Management at the county to come over and go around to different sites, including that one, including the water plant, including other sites. So that's, a lot of what you're asking is gonna be done. As far as the notification, notification or lack of notification, you're right. We'll fix that issue that was an issue.
I'm sure.
I wish all my problems were that gonna be that easy to fix. We'll fix that issue.
Just one final quick comment. Unfortunately, the federal government asserts the position that they have preempted the issues of health, and that by setting that standard, which was set a considerable period of time ago, and which is probably lacking in up-to-date medical research, they prevent local communities, local officials who have a fiduciary responsibility from considering health harm to their citizens. And I think that we, as a community, and I as only one member of the committee, need to think about that. We have a responsibility to our citizens, even though the federal government has attempted to take that away from us.
You're correct.
And unfortunately, many people, including many veterans, whose lives were destroyed when the federal government said that Agent Orange was of no harm. 25, 30, 40 years later, we know the unfortunate results.
No question
Thank
about
you
it.
very
You're right.
much.
Thank you, Ned.
It's gonna be quick. Hi. I want to thank you, whoever came Sunday to look at the balloon, and then walked up to our houses personally and looked how would it affect us. I woke up Sunday morning and it's 8 o'clock and
I'm sorry, can you
Turn
talk
my
a little-
head.
little more in that mic, sir?
I turned my head, I'm like, ooh, balloon. I was expecting it on Saturday, but that's what I'm gonna see from my bedroom, okay? So that's only me, but also I drove today from New York City. I went Route 303 down in Rockland, and I did see the tower 2 times. They were in empty, open, again, higher, no houses around it. And they were extremely large and, you know, I'm sorry, it's not only about me, it's about the community, beautiful Hudson River. And also, the person who represents the tower company,
Xavier?
came to my house. And so he was looking at the balloon and I said, personally, can I ask you, would you put this next to your house? He thought about it, and he said, no, I wouldn't.
Okay.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you very
Okay?
much.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, let me move on. Can I have the minutes approved from February the 4th, 2019? We had a regular meeting.
I make a motion.
Motion by
I'll
trustee
second.
Howard, second by trustee Livesey, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. May I have the appointment made tonight through a motion for John Sibley, who's been the assistant water plant operator, promote him to chief water plant operator effective the 21st of February, which is the day after tomorrow, so that would be Thursday. You have his rate $32.55 with a maximum probation of 26 weeks.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by trustee Livesey, seconded by trustee Ramus. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. May I have a motion to approve J. Robert Fulchetti, otherwise known as Todd, our engineer, to do for engineering services for the damages at the sewer plant for the removal. This will only be for the removal of the damaged items.
I make the motion that we accept that.
I'll second.
Take care, Dave. We'll be talking, okay? Motion by trustee Howard, seconded by trustee Murphy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any questions? Any questions? Okay, this is not to replace the items, this is to demo the items and remove them. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. May I have approval of a new young fireman? Fireman, no, it's a fire lady. Is that what you say, Charlie? Firewoman.
They're all firefighters.
Firefighters. I'll try to remember that. Jasmine Booker, pending a physical, per the recommendation of Fire Chief Smith.
Sounds like
Hmm?
a good name for a firefighter, too.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by trustee Murphy, second by trustee Ramus. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. May I have a motion to appoint James Ripa as a part-time police officer, at recruit pay $10.40. Imagine that, $10.40.
That's by their contract, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I was just...
He won't be opening up a bank account. Just saying.
I was just about to say, I'm looking at this $10.40 an hour for a police officer to go on.
Well, we're doing contracts,
They set that
you know?
with us.
So I need to read this, with a maximum can be taken off earlier, maximum probation of 78 weeks, per the recommendation of Police Chief Scott.
I make a motion that we accept this application.
Second.
Motion by trustee Howard, seconded by trustee Ramus, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Some quick updates. The fire department lease for the truck room has expired, and Mr. McCormick, Joe McCormick, who takes care of that, has asked that we agree to the current lease. Nothing changes except $500. We add $500 to the truck room lease for 1 year. And at this time next year, hopefully we have a 3-year contract in place. Okay? May I have a motion
I make a
for the increase of $500 for a 1-year lease?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by trustee Livesey, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Howard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Update on cell tower, we did.
Joe,
Yes.
just can you're also motioning that you can sign that contract.
Oh, I'm sorry. May I have a motion that the mayor be authorized to sign the lease with the fire department?
Motion to authorize the mayor to sign the lease.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we know when we're gonna do interviews on the water assistant and the mechanic. Update on Article 78, that's a lawsuit that's been brought upon the village, where the village has incurred great expense from Pat Flynn, Kat DeGov, Laura Milsom, and Sharon Guy. The village attorney has gone, we won the case, it was appealed, and both sides presented their case in front of the appeals court, and we're waiting on their ruling. There's no more of an update than that. The vendor spot Spot number 2, we agree that, spot number 2 will go out in March in the paper for anyone that wants to bid on the spot that's been designated the spot for part number 2. And it'll be from April 1 to March 31, 2020. The spot number 1, where the hot dog stand is, that lease is up in July, and we will require that spot to go out in July, the day after that spot ends, and it will be for 9 months to March 31, 2020. That way, spot 1 and spot 2 will both be up March 31, 2020, and 2 bids will go out to the public for vendors if anyone's out there wishes to participate in 1 and 2. Okay? We all understand?
Yep, makes sense.
Okay. Thank you. Charlie, your emergency management flyer?
Right, the Emergency Management Committee met February 6th, and one of the ideas that the committee had was to utilize billing mailings for the town and village in order to send out some kind of a flyer that would just give people a simple prep sheet, things that they should have on hand. I think there are places that we can secure those. It would be, I think, 1,100 pieces for the next sewer bill. So
We can do this. We can put a flyer, correct, in with our mail when it calls for it.
that would
And that's what you want, that's what you're gonna get,
Thank you.
okay?
Do we need to make a motion about that, or?
No.
Okay, great.
No, but you need to provide the flyer in time, so you'll communicate with the clerk.
And it's June that that sewer bill goes out?
Right, but we would need it in May, so we have time to prep the bills.
I, okay, so that's up to you now it's in your court, okay.
Mr.
So,
Mayor, if I, are we done with that part? Can I back up a little bit? Just a question actually for the chief over here. Back to the part-time, that's $10.40 an hour for 78 weeks, is that?
No. While he's in his training, so when he's done with the academy.
But the probation period is 78 weeks?
No, it's maximum 78 weeks.
Right.
Civilian employees is
78
52
weeks of probation?
The board has a discretion.
I could tell you, someday, I'll talk to you about that. It's good. It
78
sounds,
weeks.
yeah.
It's a little stark.
It can be shortened,
I just think that's
yeah,
a lengthy time.
yeah. Well, it is, yeah.
Yeah, my opinion.
All right, I have bills and claims for fiscal year 2019 of $145,033.97. May I have those paid?
Motion to pay the bills?
Is there a second?
Second.
Trustee Howard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I would also like to compliment whoever was responsible in our office for the new software. The printout that is in our package is really good and very helpful.
Thank you.
Tomorrow is Kevin Hurst's last day in the water plant. On behalf of the board, I'm sure we all feel the same way. Thank you for the 30-some-odd years you put in,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and you'll be missed, and good luck with your new business.
Okay, very quick, there's a couple fellows in town and myself have met at the West Point Library with a group of cadets that are doing a project. They're going to create a document that we'll be able to give to prospective businesses on why to come here, you know, something good and all of that. So they're working on that, and when the project is done, and I have it, of course I'll share it with everyone. It's nice dealing with the cadets. Key Bank, I've been in contact with Key Bank, with the head of head of real estate for Key Bank. She works for Key Bank. They don't have a realtor as of the other day. They're looking for a realtor. They're gonna pick a realtor. That realtor will do the due diligence on what the building should be sold for. We're going to talk after she picks the realtor. I'm gonna set up a meeting with the real estate department and the realtor himself or herself. It is on the tax assessment rolls of with $1,250,000. The village tax on that is $13,008. $13,008. So we'll, that's on top of my desk, we'll see where that goes. We'll see. Had a meeting at the Garrison Commander's office with several folks, actually the room was packed, on land return. We're moving forward with land return to the Village of Highland Falls. There's some documents that they want from us. They were very receptive. There's a meeting in March that I'll come back with information about 87 contracts that are coming open. I think, Charlie, you know about that?
This is the
Industry planning, and with 87 contracts, $80 to $100 million, so I'll be bringing that information back. I've set up a meeting with the Thayer Hotel folks that bought some properties on Main Street, and there were a couple other items that were spoke about with very high interest that could benefit the Village of Highland Falls, and as they move down the road with these, I'll share. The last thing I have is, and I'll just read it, some of you may have seen this on Facebook, but it appears from our county executive, Steve Newhouse, that there are around 200 service folks from Orange County overseas, in particular Afghanistan, and being in the desert, you know, we know there's no showers, there's no toilets, there's no running water. So I'm asking the community for their help. This community always responds to those in need, and now our servicemen are in need for vital items that will be delivered to the Orange County Office of Veterans Affairs on Craigville Road in Goshen. The drop-off point for items will be downstairs in the lobby, but it's for baby wipes, those lotion wipes. My wife uses them all the time, and you know, when you're out in the desert, I guess that would be the thing you'd want to use. Eye drops, sunscreen because the sun is pretty strong over there, water, foot spray, deodorant, Q-tips, disposable razors, toothpaste, and Bibles, rosary beads, something religious, no matter what religion it is.
Isn't Steve Newhouse the flag right now, too?
Yeah, that's where this is coming from. So I'm asking the community, I don't know how long I'll keep it going. I'd like to keep it going for at least a month. But whatever I get downstairs, maybe one day I'll ask Brian to go with me out to Goshen. He can treat me to lunch at the Goshen Diner, and we can drop.
Yeah, fine. I mean, I make more than the police officers, I can do that.
And we'll deliver these items, but again, they're needed. Anything, not just my list, you understand, it's toiletries. Again, baby wipes, eye drops, sunscreen, water, foot spray, deodorant, Q-tips, razor blades, toothpaste, and maybe some religious items. If the community could help us with that, it would be great. Thank you so much. I have nothing else. Anyone here? I'll take a motion.
Oh, wait, no, I got Please, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, buddy.
There's a couple of things out there, I just wanted to let the residents know. Cornell Cooperative Extension, it's that time of the year again, gardening is gonna be starting. They have a tip line that is very beneficial, and they really want to get kids involved. I know down at the church down here, they have a community garden. So if you'd like to help and you don't have room in your backyard, to show up down there and, you know, any knowledge that you can share with children is a great thing.
What's the tip line? The number?
All right, so they have a few of them, but the one that you can call, 845-344-1234, pretty easy. So, you know, and they focus on trying not to use chemicals, how to keep it fun, and, you know, anytime that you can see, the easiest thing to grow is beans also, because they pop within a week, and that really keeps kids interested. Don't try to plant tomato seeds with a kid, because they're gonna not wanna ever plant again, because they take a long time to germinate. There's also another number out there, Charlie, and the Master Gardeners, they start in April, and they answer calls generally anywhere from 9:30 in the morning till sometime later in the afternoon. And it's great, they have so much knowledge. So the other number is 845-343-0664. And you can go on the website, they have a helpline that you can type in, you know, everybody likes, you know, electronics, things nowadays. Also out there at Cornell, they're talking about diabetes prevention. Again, that ties in with gardening and how fresh fruits and vegetables can help with your diabetes. They have a lot of different recipes for different days. One of the most popular ones is Meatless Mondays, where you can slow cook a veggie lasagna. Go right on their website, and again, they have the recipes right there. It's pretty easy to figure things out and try something new. There's... No, I have a couple. Oh, I have a lot, but I'll keep it short and sweet. Bees. The bees are going to be around again. Everybody knows that honeybees are endangered,
Species.
more or less. So if you see a swarm, and they're about the size of a basketball in the summertime, you can call 911. The police know exactly where to make the call to have a local bee person come down and move those bees, because they're so important. And just, I don't know if anybody knows, but we do have a local beekeeper that works here in the village. He doesn't live here, but it is our own Bruce Twilliger down at the building department. So if you want to know about bees, he has a lot of knowledge about
Jim, do you know they get me every year?
honeybees.
I don't know what kind of bee it is, but
Yellow jacket.
every year
They
I
want
get stung.
You should be careful.
Every year.
Yeah. So yeah, and one other quick thing, and Trustee Lindsay, there's another opportunity for us. I know you have concerns with the stream corridor,
Right.
and I want to get in touch with you, and we need to put an application together by April 3rd. And this,
Let's walk it one day.
yeah, but
We'll do it.
this, what they will do is, they have 350 bags, and it's called buffer and bag. And they will give us designated riparian plants that will fit our general location. So maybe me and you can walk it, and then maybe we can get some help from some of the local kids in the school
Okay.
to try to work on some different areas in there to try to get some green back in that buffer.
Or Eagle Scout project would be great too.
That would be great also.
That's that chime in.
Sure.
Okay.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Hurd.
I make a motion,
To
adjourn.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much.
And Earth Day is coming.